I'm very surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bad it now with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights with some spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
What's up, everybody? This is Sakura A, and I have Emilio Santana with me tonight. This is Boxing Playhouse After Dark, baby. And tonight we have Nestor. That's right, Nestor Bravo is in the house with us. He's going to be talking about his coming up fight. That's tomorrow night in Orlando at the Caribe Royale. And that is promoted by Most Valuable Promotions, as well as BOXLAB Promotions. I can't wait to see who's the most valuable prospects of tomorrow night's show. Emilio Santana, I want to talk to you first about the huge news this week coming from the press conferences that took place in New York as well as in LA for the Canelo versus Charlo fight. I mean, what do you see? How do you see it? What were you impressed with? What didn't you give a damn about? What do you have? Here we go.
Well, first of all, I've seen a lot of respect from Charlo. You know,
okay.
A lot of press conferences in the past with Charlo and different fighters. We've seen how rowdy and loud these guys can get and go at each other. But
that's what you mean.
I see a lot of respect that Charlo have and appreciation that he has towards Canelo for, you know, giving him this fight and opportunity that so many guys at 168 on down want, you know, hitting that Canelo sweepstakes or lotto, you know, that they call it. But I saw another thing that I noticed was that Charlo, he seems to look pretty big, you know, standing next to Canelo. I know he had the height, but, you know, a lot of people was wondering, you know, how is the size going to match up? And to me, he looked bigger than Canelo. So I'm kind of I'm going out on a limb. I know a lot of people think, you know, picking Canelo, but I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to ride with Charlo. I think if Charlo fight the right fight, you know, if he box, you know, keep his distance, use his reach, you know, get in and out, you know, you can't stand in there too long and trade with Canelo or counterpunch with him. If Charlo can move and use his feet and box and use his reach, get in and get out, get off 3 or 4 punch combinations and move, I think Charlo has a great chance to pull this upset. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to rock with Charlo.
All right. So in our next topic, we got Canelo. Canelo's foe that we thought he was going to fight, actually, which is Benavidez versus Andrade being announced. And they are saying that this fight would go down sometime in October. And I just want to know from you, like, is this a matchup that you see that you would want to see?
Yes, it's definitely a matchup I want to see. Anytime, you know, these two get in the ring, especially for Andrade, you know, he's been on the wrong side of the fence, so to speak, you know, now he's finally he's on the right side now. He's with PBC.
Right.
He's finally gonna get that big fight. You know, he's been wanting these big fights, you know, for the longest. You know, he was calling out Charlo for the longest, and now he's stepping up to fight the monster, Benavidez. Right. So I'm excited about this fight, man. This year here is turning out to be a great year for boxing, and these guys are just lining themselves up to kind of a process of elimination to see who can call out Canelo. You know, Benavidez has been Canelo's mandatory for the last 3 years. So some politics in there right there. So I think it's a great matchup to see how Boo Boo does and with the monster, you know. So these guys, the winner of this definitely has the bragging rights and to call out Canelo, man, and hopefully get a big fight with Canelo next year, if Canelo is still champion after this fight with Charlo.
Well, you said if, so let's just go ahead and, you know, go back to this fight here where you're saying if Canelo versus Charlo, is Canelo going to be able to get through Charlo. Like that's a big situation that you bringing up there. I mean, right now, if you're just looking at the dynamics of their photos together and their face off, I mean, I'm seeing a size difference, like you said, in favor of Jermell Charlo.
But we have seen that in the past where guys tower over Canelo and he's broke him down.
Very
but
true.
I feel like Charlo has a lot of athleticism, movement, and a good ring IQ too, and he punches well. So I think Charlo is working on a great game plan with Derek James, man, and to I believe to keep to frustrate Canelo and keep him on the end of his punches. You know, I believe they're going to really try to use that ring and use the footwork in and out on Canelo, and I think he has a great chance to pull this off.
Well, you know what? I like the idea that we at least think that this is an actual matchup that can cause Canelo problems, if not cause him to receive a blow to his record. I'm not sure that they necessarily counted on Charlo taking this fight as seriously as he is, because most of Canelo's opponents, no shade to them, a lot of them are just like in that I'm gonna get paid regardless of my performance, and if I lose, it doesn't matter, because most people do lose to Canelo and they still go on to have nice careers if they want to, because that's how big the payout is. But I give credit to Charlo just for feeling like and going ahead and taking the initiative to be as in shape as he can be as confident as he has shown that he can be, and to actually believe in himself that he can possibly, defeat Canelo. This is something that has been missing from a lot of Canelo's opponents, and maybe Canelo bit off a little bit more than what he, thought about. He's thinking, 154-pound Charlo, that's 2 weight classes, something that he really likes to deal with. It's people that come up in weight to face him. So he might have bit off a little bit more than he thinking that he was going to have initially. But to me, business wise, it just doesn't make sense for Canelo to lose this fight, and knowing that he has 2 more fights with the same promotional company. Like, it seemed like they would want him to have the momentum to go into the other 2 opponents, or if this one pans out to be a really good one, that'll be a rematch. So that would be like, another step. Apparently, the way these contracts are looking now, if you base it on how Spence versus Crawford was done, it's like the loser gets to decide whether they want the rematch. And if that's the case in this scenario here, then if Charlo performs well, but he's the loser, he's not going to be able to initiate a rematch. Only if Canelo loses can he initiate a rematch clause. Since it's usually, in Canelo's favor, I'm sure that they had it drafted in such a way that it would be beneficial to Canelo. So, only thing I have to say when it comes to that, I'm saying all that because I just want to, basically I'm just saying like, Charlo would be in a situation where as long as he looks good against Canelo, he's going to be considered an amazing, like he's going to be considered an amazing boxing promoter, a boxer in his own right, even if he doesn't win. I'm not sure, like with Canelo, he's taking a chance, even though people don't think he is, but he is taking a chance by facing this young, hungry Lions only. So I got to give Canelo a lot of credit as well. We do have some comments here. Let's go ahead. We got Danny Santiago. That's right, from our Latin America podcast series. Yes, and he's on every Wednesday night with his co-host, which is Angel, as well as Ray, Spanish Ray. Lots of great shows lately from them. He says, "There's my fam, bringing the best boxing news in the business.
Appreciate that, Danny. Appreciate it.
Ah, gracias, gracias, all the way from Colombia.
Definitely.
Yes, and then we got Coach Louis in the house,
Louis, what's up,
and he
Louis?
says the monster. So he feel like the monster would win that fight between him and Andrade. And then Danny says Sakura and Emilio, the dynamic duo. Wow, I'm liking these. This is a boost of confidence for me.
Right.
From a Hall of Famer, he said we're like a dynamic duo.
Appreciate it, Danny.
And he says fighters finally willing to step up. That's very true.
This has
been the year of fighters
stepping up,
taking a chance.
A lot of great fights this year.
Yep. And we got Bruce. Let's see. This is Bruce G. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute to Boxing Playhouse.
Hey,
appreciate it. All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Make sure you subscribe to their channel as well. And also we have Coach Louis. He says Canelo has the old school mentality, fighting anyone and anybody.
That's what it's about. But he got a lot of people want to see him in Benavidez. Hopefully that'll happen. I think it will happen. If all these guys, if Canelo keeps winning and Benavidez can keep winning, I think he's part of that 3-fight deal with the PVC.
Right.
But if Charlo upset him, it might be Charlo and him with that 3-fight deal.
Yeah, I mean, this could turn into a trilogy and not even have gotten to a second opponent.
If Canelo lose, he gonna want some get back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He couldn't get it with Bivol, but he wanted it.
Yeah. Bivol wanted to fight him as well, but he wanted to fight him for his titles at 168. And that was a big sticking point for Bivol's team. So when Canelo's team wasn't willing to do that, then, here we go. Now we get to see this particular fight instead, which I'm not mad at. Like in the beginning, I was like, what? This isn't even the right Charlo. I mean, but then we see that, this is the right Charlo. This is actually the one that is more focused, more driven, harder working right now.
More active.
Even though he had the hand injury. Right. So this is actually the right Canelo. He's undisputed.
You know what else? I don't have the names in front of me, but the undercard is shaping up to be pretty good on this card here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't think of the guys, but when I glanced at it, I know people were talking. I can't even think of who it is, but I just remember that people were saying this is a great undercard.
Right. Oh, for sure. I think it is a good undercard that they're trying to put together for this. And let's see what else do we have here as topics. Oh, how could I forget Alicia Baumgartner testing positive for 2 banned substances 3 days prior to her actual fight. Here we go here. It's this fight here, which was a rematch with her only opponent that she's lost to. And they're saying 3 days before this event happened, testing was done, and they're saying that the results showed signs of those 2 substances. What's really interesting about this particular steroid that they found, well, first what's interesting is then 3 days later, when it's fight night, she doesn't have anything in her system. The tests are fine. So from 3 days, we had nothing. But so that's one thing. And then the second thing that's really interesting is one of those hormones is something that is used in women trying to achieve pregnancy. That's having difficulties becoming pregnant. This is something that is given to them. So that's also makes your mind wonder and go into other places too.
I don't know how these steroids work. Do they just help a fighter just achieve that level of peakness and training, and then also they just know when to cut it when it's time to fight, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's this situation where certain drugs, like they're saying that most boxers are doing something. Like this is what I'm hearing from experts in this, in boxing, where they're saying, yeah, most of these people really are on some type of, ped usage, but they know how to, the strength and conditioning coaches are the ones that they're pinpointing because of that Mexican guy that had the scandal, but then became a strength and conditioning coach. Uh, with no further incidents. Let's put that out there.
What's
But
unfortunate is that to catch something like this late. I mean, that could, you fight somebody and they on something, you could really hurt somebody in the ring. After the fact.
right.
After the fact, oh, she was on something. Now she could have hurt somebody real bad. In a fight.
Well, this is the thing, is like, well, they're saying on the fight night nothing was in her system at that point. Now, some of these drugs, they are designed to help you get a boost, and then they kind of get out of your system.
Right.
Give you energy for the short term, or give you strength for the short term, but then they're out of your system. A lot of these strength and conditioning coaches, they're saying know when to time it so that you're not busted, or pop. But I don't know how that works, because with VADA, it's all random testing.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like on their time, whenever they feel like it. So the other thing, you're right, correct. Why is it, if she did the test 3 days prior to the actual fight, why did it take till the following month before the results came in? And how does that affect her opponent at this point? Lena Datu, she was not active at the time of their fight. She had just had a baby, remember?
Right.
And she was returning and getting in shape from that, which is just amazing in itself, that she got into fight shape and went was it the distance she went, or did she stop her finally? Yeah, like, I mean, that's just amazing in itself. But the thing of it is, that just shows how much of a huge, like, hardcore boxer she is. Tough one. But it's like, why did she need that substance? I don't feel like she even needed that substance for an opponent who had not been active and who had just had a baby. Like, it took all her energy just to be in shape, to have, to be in underweight, and to be able to last the 12 rounds.
Right. I was gonna say, this is definitely like a black eye to Alicia Baumgartner. She's been on a rise, undisputed, her commentating, Eddie Hearn's been using her a lot, giving her a great exposure, and talking about fighting Amanda Serrano. And now, to take, for this to pop on her, I know it's going to be a major setback. I don't know what the protocols are, how they're going to handle the situation, but we'll have to keep watching and see how this unfolds, But like I said, it's an unfortunate situation for her, as her career, really taking off at this point. Now, you're going to always have people going to feel like how long she's been cheating, or, it's going to be like, they ain't gonna let this go away. A lot of times this don't go away. It's gonna always come up. So it's we got to see how this play out.
Absolutely, we do have to see how it plays out. Definitely, more information is needed in order for us to know exactly how this can happen. Is there a possibility that this could be an error? And is this something that's normally a hormone that is in a female system, even if it's steroids?
We've seen how just almost a year ago with Conor Ben, it's like he spent the whole year trying to defend himself.
Yeah, that's true. And then they're gonna go in on her. They're gonna go in on her extra hard, because she does have that type of a boxing mentality, where she's sassy and able to, talk a lot of shit. So, they're going to go after her too, because she's, on the rise. Like, we love to put our boxers up on a pedestal just to bring them down. And not saying that she should be given a free pass if this turns out to be true, but she did come out with a statement at which she said, I'm not just going to sit back in the background and allow my, reputation to be ruined or whatever. I'm going to be, I'm going to be saying what I have to say and getting the information out there as the investigation continues into that.
Right.
I think the main issue, not even with Baumgartner's situation, it's just like in general, if we're finding out, like, what's the point in even taking the drug testing if you then find out that it's not, it's not going to be beneficial for the actual fight that you're doing the testing for.
Right.
Like the results are not coming until after the fight is over.
Yeah.
And the person has already been at risk. Like that's the fighter safety part that I don't like. And that's in general with all of these testing. Like they need to have a better system in place to get faster results. So that it actually makes a difference for the actual fight you're getting tested for. Right. Like otherwise it's like, what the hell are we even doing this for?
It kind of remind me of, like, say you got people that work at nursing homes. Sometimes you'll go in a room and somebody has something, and then you come out and then they tell you, be careful, that person has such and such.
It's like you're already exposed.
But there was no sign on the door, and you done walked in, and the person done walked in and been around somebody that has something. Then you come out after the fact, this person got something.
Yes.
So you got to really,
very true.
You got to catch this before, somebody get exposed.
Yes. Well, in positive news for the females, we have Christina Poncher being able to sign a new deal with Top Rank for her commentating, hosting, and reporting. So amazing news for women. We're now being able to be given a couple, like more than a short-term contract with a big promoter. So congratulations, Christina. Yes. I mean, and she's a great commentator. I love her on there. So, I mean, I think she does a fabulous job. So there would be no reason why they shouldn't re-sign it.
Right.
Yes. All right. So good news for all the women on that front. Let's go ahead and talk about Right Hook, baby. Right Hook with William Hunter. We call him the Hunter. He has his card coming up, the Blind Tiger. The Blind Tiger boxing card. It's got TNK boxing on it, Fire Fist boxing. Right here we got Tito Escalera. I'm calling him Manny. Okay, since his middle name is Manuel. Prospect. Right. So we're going to say the 16-0, 16 KOs in the house for the heavyweights. He's going against the Silva, and that is going to go down tomorrow night in Biloxi, baby, at the Blind Tiger Biloxi Beach. And that's the one that has the boat launches where you can actually see the fight from your boat. Amazing.
Nice spot, man.
Beautiful.
Right on the water right there.
Absolutely. And we have Danny Santiago chiming in saying, hey, Zeus, this weekend, about to bring it.
That's a fight where people can actually watch it from their boats.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're on the beach.
You can be on your boat and see some action.
Yes, and he has it where he gets a fee, of course, for you to, dock your boat, but then you have waiters and waitresses like actually serving you on the boat. Like you can't beat it.
But don't jump out the boat and swim to that ring like you're gonna get in there and do something, though.
Yeah. Don't please don't do nothing like that. Nah, that's not gonna fly. And on that same card, the main event for that night is Connor Coyle. That's right, the Irishman who is our boxer. He's the WBA NABA boxing champion, and he'll be defending his belt against Joey Bryant. So that's a situation where we're wanting to see that fight because it's such a great matchup. I think Connor is like 18-0, and then Brian is like 17-1, right. Like very close records. So great matchup there. If you can catch it, there'll be a live stream available. Make sure you get the correct live stream, people. Again, make sure you have the correct. Live stream because that a lot of fake ones out here, and they'll charge you your money. And then you'll never see it again because it's not the actual promoter. So please make sure when you're clicking on these streams that you have the actual correct website link. Okay, so that's Connor Cole versus Joey Bryant going down in the Blind Tiger Biloxi, Mississippi card. And it also features Jesus Escalera trying to get to 17-0, probably with 17 KOs. He's very close to Mike Tyson's record of having 18 fights, 18 wins in 1 year. So he's very close.
Yeah, he's closing in on some records, man.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Coach Louis says Jesus Escalera is no joke, hard-working promoter and fighter. That's right.
And he wears so many hats.
He wears so many hats, but he does it well. And a lot of people are really upset about that. But it's like, take that haterade juice and go on. Let's be positive for people that are following their dreams, no matter what time period it is in their life. If you can make your dream come true, go for it.
Tito will bring a ring, set it up, get in there and whip your ass in his own ring.
That would not be cool, right? That's not cool. That would not be cool at all. Like, if that was the case, it just wouldn't be. And of course, tomorrow night we'll be in Orlando at the Most Valuable Promotions and BOXLAB card. That's right, the most valuable prospects they'll be interested in. And this is the second show that is going down with Nestor Bravo as the main event. He'll be with us later tonight. Let's just go ahead and say that we're super excited about having him on the show, being able to talk to him about all the different things that he's had to do in his career to get to this moment on a main event DAZN card. So he's going to be like, yes, very much so. It's going to be great. It's actually a wonderful, wonderful situation. All right, so this is BOXLAB Promotions. We're talking about the Caribe Royale Resort and Spa. And of course, it's Orlando, Florida. It's going down, baby. Friday night, get your tickets. There's still some available at Ticketmaster.com. So you can just go there and get you a quick ticket now and be able to be in the house. And you can see Nestor Bravo currently tomorrow night, as well as here tonight. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Oh, I know you wanted to talk about Navarrete winning this fight. Navarrete won his fight against Oscar Valdez. Notice how I said Oscar. Oscar Valdez. Valdez, I have to say, he looked like a defeated man in that fight. Yes, his eye was pretty much closed. I think it was more mental than physical. And that's a huge problem because you can fix the physical real quick with healing time. But that mental, some boxers never get it back. What do you think about Navarrete defeating Oscar and in the style that it was done?
It was a great performance by Navarrete. He just, man, uppercuts. The uppercuts was the key in this fight, and I think that's what did a lot of the swelling. He was doubling and tripling up with his uppercuts and hooks.
Right.
You know, the angles and I think was just throwing off Oscar. You know, Oscar landed a few good left hooks in there, but it didn't seem to really have that much effect on Navarrete. So man, it was a tough defeat, man. I know he looked like he was very down about it and like he let his fans down, but he came in there and showed tremendous heart and will. You know, he gave it his all, but he was outclassed that night, man. Navarrete, a tough dude, man. He to be in a fight like that, he didn't have no scratches or nothing, kind of like Bud a few weeks ago. You know, this guy's got this resilient skin, you know, right. Be in these wars and don't have a scratch or a mark on him. But yeah, it was a great win for Navarrete. He's on to bigger and better things.
Well, I tell you what, it's a situation where Navarrete did deserve to win. It was clear cut to me, and I just don't see a reason for a rematch.
Nah, not at all. Not at this point.
Yeah.
Valdez will have to redeem himself, beat a few guys, maybe win a world title, and maybe meet him again. You know, I don't even know if he was that, you know, enthused about entertaining the rematch.
Right.
he looked like he want to go home, spend some time with his family, and regroup and think things over about what he want to do next.
I know. It's a situation where I don't think he's in his correct weight class. Navarrete, he can go up to 135 even. He's at 130 right now. I don't see Oscar looking good against any of these 130 pounders. Yes, Navarrete is one of the bigger ones, but he didn't show much power or abilities against Shakur at 130. And he didn't look that great in his last fight, even though he did get through it and he had a layoff. So he was trying to get back into, get back shape. But Navarrete was a force in there that night. I mean, he had punches and bunches. He was forcing the action. He was just, devastating that eye too. Like once he knew it was hurt, he was like, yeah, I'm a targeted.
This guy's conditioning is out the roof.
That's true.
From bell one to the end, and just
he didn't look like he had a scratch on him. He wasn't breathing heavy.
Hard, nothing.
So that was a big improvement from his last fight in which he looked gassed. So they worked on it, and he actually was in tip-top shape for that fight. So kudos to Navarrete.
Great performance from him.
I don't know who else he fights at that weight class though. I mean, who else can Navarrete fight? Let's just be real. At 130, Shakur was the only big name at 130. I think you got Leo Santa Cruz might still be there. Maybe. We don't know for sure because he's been out for so long.
Oh, I know one of the fights. I'm sorry to change the subject, but one of those fights that's on the trial card is the rematch with Colbert. Remember Colbert and Chris Colbert and the kid that he
that won?
Yeah, they thought the other kid won, but they gave it to Colbert.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna rematch him.
Yeah,
okay.
That's one of the fights.
Well, I'm glad to see that instead of him trying to move up to 135 to face Gervonta Tank Davis. Like that's like a no-win situation for him.
That made me think of him when we was trying to figure out who's in that 130-pound division. I said, "Oh, Chris Colbert is good."
Right.
Villanova. What was the dude named the young caddy for?
I don't remember, honestly. You got me on that one.
Doing the rematch. Because Colbert act like he didn't want to give him a rematch at one time, but I guess, and they was entertaining him and Tank fighting. So I guess that must have fizzled out when nobody was interested in Tank fighting him.
Right. Oh, for sure. Definitely. Like, I think that's the best situation because he did have that guy. That guy had his number. He didn't look good against him. So that's probably where they should go. Well, let's go ahead and make the topic here. Joshua versus Helenius. Okay, I have the photo that you actually created. Here we go. All right, so what we have on the bottom is Wilder knocking out Helenius, which was a first round knockout. And on top, we have Anthony Joshua, AJ, doing basically the same thing. And Helenius is laid out in the same way as he was with Wilder. And now we have a possible Wilder versus Joshua fight that they're talking about. Do you see AJ being ready? I mean, he got the KO.
Actually took him a little longer. He took him 7 rounds to do what Wilder did in 1.
That's correct. 7 rounds.
AJ, man, he really gonna have to guard that chin, man, and tighten that defense. Gonna have to definitely be on point. If he can keep his defense and stay away from Wilder's right hand, who knows? We've seen Wilder get rocked. We've seen Luis Ortiz had Wilder hurt. Yes. Fury had him hurt a few times. So AJ does have decent power. It ain't like Wilder's, but he got enough power that if he catch Wilder, he can do the same thing to him. So I know Derrick James, they're going to be working on a game plan, but he got to keep that hand up. He's got to guard that chin. If he can stay away from that right hand, he has a chance. And if he catch Wilder, who knows? Everybody thinking about AJ getting laid out, but he could possibly catch Wilder and hurt him. So
I know.
It's an interesting fight.
Yes, it is an interesting fight. That's for sure. But I mean, what do you see here? What do you see as an actual scenario to this? I mean,
I see a few scenarios. I could see Wilder blasting him in 1 round, and then I could see AJ, staying away from that the right hand and making Wilder go back to his old ways, getting wild and frustrated trying to land that right hand on AJ. And AJ might be able to catch him with a counter in some of them wild swings.
Yes, for sure. He definitely can. Hold on, baby. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, it's just it's just a great fight. It's finally gonna happen. I don't know if the money. I don't think the money's the same as it was a couple years ago when both guys was champion. You know, and undefeated. You know, it was a lot of money on the line at that time. So now this fight done lost a lot of its luster, but it's still intriguing. A lot of people still want to see it. Two big heavyweights, you know, one from the UK, one American, with power. So it's still an intriguing matchup. People are gonna still want to see it. Like I was saying, it doesn't have the same luster it had a few years ago when both guys were undefeated champions.
I know they messed up a lot of money.
There was a lot of money on the table. It's not the same money. It can't be the same money.
But you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because this is how I feel. When Wilder gets in that ring with AJ, if it does happen, he's going to be thinking about the $50 million check, the disrespect, the Hearns acting like Wilder wasn't worth the money. The you know, kind of like what I was hearing from the back end on people, what they were saying was that Hearns didn't have respect for the black man as businessmen. Like I was hearing that. So like it was a lot of stuff going on in the backdrop. So with all that in Wilder's mind, like you don't need him. He's already going to be vicious. You know, like he has a great killer instinct. So and then he gets in there with that type of animosity and et cetera, et cetera. If AJ ain't in the right game plan mind, if he's not in the right state of mind, if he's not concentrating on every move and step he makes, because Wilder is going to be on it. Any mistake he make, Wilder's going to be trying to, you know, benefit from it.
That's the thing. He cannot afford to make a mistake, you know, because we know that chin has been tested and he's been a little chinny in some fights. So you definitely don't want to get tested by a Wilder punch. So he can't afford to make no mistakes. He's going to have to be on his A game. You have to stay away from that right hand. And if he can stay away from that right hand and get in and hurt Wilder, that's the only chance I see.
I feel that you're correct. And that means that it would have to go 12 rounds. So what is the...
He could possibly hurt Wilder too now.
He could, but what's the percentage that that he's going to be accurate and perfect the entire 12 rounds to make it through this fight? I mean, what that percentage is pretty low.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Especially with AJ. And then too, he was very timid in that fight against Helenius because he knew Helenius has power still, and he's gonna know that Wilder has that same power but greater. So I see him being even more timid. Danny says AJ can't make a mistake.
He can't. He got to be perfect.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I love AJ, but I don't see him making it through 12 rounds with Wilder. Let's put it this way. In the trilogy with Fury was even unable to stay away from that power the entire fight. He went down twice in those three fights. So how is AJ, who is not as skilled and defensively not as big as Fury, how is he gonna stay away from Wilder?
See how it was when they was gonna fight a few years ago, they both was like, it was like a 50-50 fight. Now it's like
people know what's under the armor. There's no curiosity.
Everybody feels like Wilder's gonna blast him out in one or two rounds. But like Danny was saying, and I was saying too, that
he would have to be perfect.
Have to fight a perfect fight, man. He can't get caught.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Javon Pop Woodard, who's also fighting Friday in Atlanta, and his fight is sold out. It's Friday night fights, August 18th and it's there in Atlanta. Guys, this Pop, if you haven't seen Pop, you need to see him. I like his form. I like his stance. He has some pop, in the division he's currently in. He has some pop. So tune in and see if you can see him. And if you're in the Atlanta area, if maybe there's some tickets you can purchase at the actual door to see him. Right. But that's amazing. I mean, I'm good luck to Javon. Yeah, great fighter. And he's up and coming. We also have Bryce Mills, who's also just announced an amazing fight opportunity where he's going to be on the undercard of Usyk versus Dubois.
That's a good look.
That's overseas in Saudi Arabia.
Good look for Bryce. So
yeah.
These are the type of platforms, man. When you get on a card like this is when you want to shine. You got millions of people looking at you. Mm-hmm. And Bryce he's a young up and coming fighter, man, and this is his moment to really let people know, who he is, So this is a great look for him to be on the undercard. Usyk Dubois, much love to Bryce Mills. Nice young man. We've met him a few times. Mm-hmm. Fought on Florida cards, on some TNK cards right down here. So
that's what I remind him all the time. Like, remember, we're your second home, Florida.
Much love to Bryce Mills, man.
He's a great fighter. I love his killer instinct. Yeah. And he's another one that has a really great stance and jab.
He's a very marketable guy.
Very marketable.
Man. I know the young ladies like him. So
oh yeah.
he's got to just keep knocking him down, Bryce.
They do love him. They love him because he's tangible. He's like very approachable. He has a great smile. He's very charismatic. He's handsome. But then also in that ring, he got what it takes to be a great boxer. So that's the keys to a great boxing career, right?
Bring that black and gold back too, Bryce.
Oh yeah, he love that black and gold too. I mean, and I don't know about his opponent. Let's see, Tamosi. Yeah, I have to look him up and see what that's all about. But super lightweights, baby, in the house. All right, let's see what else I had, because I had a lot going on here. Oh, also tomorrow night in Orlando on the BOXLAB Promotions and MVP card, we have some females on the card. So I got to show them some love. Shout out to Krista Rosado and Taretha Dixon. And they'll be squaring off in the ring tomorrow night in Orlando. And it's going down all on DAZN. Well, I hope they make the actual TV televised part. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a nice review for these females, and we can see who's up and coming. I believe we've seen Taretha Dixon over here in Tampa before, but I haven't seen Krista Rosado live yet. So I know you're interested in it, right? You like women fights.
Interested in seeing the ladies fight.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, what else can we say? Well, I had spoken to Bravo, and he's actually trying to sign on. Hopefully he'll be able to join us soon. I'm going to go ahead and just talk about the bare knuckles fight with Rosalina and Harry Cruz, which were our guests this weekend. And their fight is coming up next Thursday. And that is August the 24th. We saw Nelson earlier, Nelson Rodriguez, and he was giving a shout out to the Prospect Series down in Miami, of course. And that is going to be the Bare Knuckle Fighting Champions Prospect Series. We got my man Harry Cruz on the card and Rosalinda Rodriguez, the Real Venom.
Real Venom.
Yes. And of course, we have some other players that are going to be trying their luck as first-time debuters and bare knuckles. We'll have to see how they like it or if they don't like it at all. I mean, but the key thing to remember is they at least tried. Yeah, they're trying it out. They got, I don't want to say the balls to do it, but they got they got the cojones to actually try it.
The cojones.
Yes, I don't know if I could do that. I really don't know if I could do it,
Man, that's tough to get in there. That bare knuckles.
Absolutely.
Because you about 90% sure to come out with some bruises and cuts.
Oh,
And rearrange your
yes.
face is 90% come out different.
Oh, for sure. You're going to come out different, even if it's like
Yeah.
just your heart, because that's a different type of fight mentality, you know? It's less thinking and more total reaction. So if you're the type of fighter that has great reflexes and, you know, can just live in the moment, you're probably more suited for bare knuckles because it's faster paced than your boxing. If you're more of a thinker and a more of a technical or strategic type of fighter, then boxing is, I feel like, is more suited for you.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but there's some differences for sure. But while we're talking about bare knuckles, we also have Hunt versus Kamosi going down in Denver, Colorado for the first time. Well, what I mean is Hunt will be on the card as the main feature in Denver for the first time. And that's a bare knuckle fighting champs fight as well. He is the current 205-pound champion over in bare knuckles. And he's also a multi-divisional champion in bare knuckles. And he's also the second and only Black champion at 205 pounds, if you include John Maloney, which is the original bare knuckles fighter in LL Cool J's ancestor. So that's a pretty cool fact. And this is the lovely belt that they had created for him. All right.
That belt got weight to it. I held that belt.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Oh, you had Johnny Beckford's belt.
Right.
Yeah, and that was at lightweight, I believe.
I held this old belt.
Oh, you had the original old belt? Oh, you probably Scott Bird. Okay.
Scott, you had it on
Gotcha.
display.
All right, let's see what Danny's saying about bare knuckles. Okay, he says, only time I fight in bare knuckles is if there's a bare refrigerator. Then it's on. The gloves come off. Well, you know what, Danny? I mean, it ain't for everybody, but I'm surprised because, you know, they might offer you like a lot of money to fight bare knuckles with another celebrity from the Contender that you fought back then. Like, you never know, like, what kind of money's involved. And if it is a lot of money, you sure you wouldn't do bare knuckles? I mean, that's my question to you. I mean, money talks, bullshit walks. He's going to be on it. Oh, I was going to say, what is that? The dryer. Okay. So I think those are all of our hot topics. Do you remember anything else about what was going, anything else?
See who was fighting this weekend. There's some fights, ain't it?
I don't really, everything that's fights this weekend.
Oh, Nico Ali, I think, fights.
Oh, Nico?
Top rank card, I believe.
Oh, okay, nice.
I think he fights this weekend. What about Dog Bay? Didn't he?
Dog Bay?
They gotta beat Dog Bay. Who was that?
Rodriguez. Oh, no, what was his name? I forget who it was. I don't remember. I mean, it's just been a lot of Canelo news this week with Charlo for their presser. So, you know, I just feel like it's just gonna be that type of fight. I really didn't feel like it. I felt like the presser wasn't as big as the pressers that they had for Spence Crawford. How do you feel about it? Do you think the buzz was as big as the buzz that was with Bud and Spence? I mean, I don't think that it was.
It didn't feel like it. And then these guys were, you know, very respectful and that kind of, you know, a lot of people love the train wrecks and, you know, and guys going at each other.
Right.
Like Canelo and Charlo, kind of like a throwback from the 30s when the guys shaking hands and wearing, you know, suits and smiling with each other. But, you know, the Spence Crawford, you had a lot of, with the camps and everybody, you know, kind of going at it and a lot of big talking and, you know, the Spence with the Bud and Bud with the big fish thing,
right?
And all that. And
like they had a better.
It was a lot of
gimmick.
It was a lot of talking going on. This fight, these two guys, Canelo and Charlo, seem more laid back, and you know, people are not really talking that much about it. You know, besides looking at the size the size difference.
The
Watch them
size
sizing
difference
them up.
is big. You know,
Yeah.
the size different, all that talk about, oh, he's too small. Oh, he's too small. Like we saw in front of our eyes this week that shit was not the case at all.
Yeah.
Like he can
Yeah.
rock and roll him with Canelo.
See, he got to make sure he uses his height and reach to his advantage.
Right.
He can't fight short, you know, with Canelo.
I understand what you're saying now. Bud was seen saying that he did still want to fight with Charlo when he comes back down and fight. And if he still has to fight Tim Tszyu, he still wants to fight after that. And he also stated on the Breakfast Club that he did not think that a fight with Ennis Boots was something that would be beneficial to him. He's saying that if he does, or when he does beat Boots, people will be like, but he didn't have as much experience as you, but he didn't have any step up fights. And of course, that's what Bud was going to do to him. And he also says that it's not a big money fight either because people don't know him. And right now he feels like he's put himself in the position to where he should be able to get only big fights with big money. How do you feel about that?
I don't really.
I mean, because I know you wanted to see that particular fight.
I mean, when you got a mandatory, I like the old days when Marvin Hagler. Marvin had all the belts back then. It was a two belt, or did he have 3 belts back then? But Marvin fought all his mandatories. I remember watching them one by one on HBO. Was showing them every time he had a mandatory. You know, he was beating them, man. Tony Simpson, Mustafa Hamsher, Fulio Bell. I remember all these fights with Hagler. And so, you know, Bud, you know, for these guys that be saying, oh, this person don't bring this kind of money. And, you know, to me, it's kind of, I hate to say ducking a fighter, man, because I like Bud. You hate to say ducking, man, but if you got a mandatory, you know, if you're not going to fight this guy, then give up the belts or something. You can't just hold on to these belts and say, oh, this guy don't bring me this type of money. You know, and then these guys, then they turn around and fight guys that really ain't on their level. You know, we've seen Bud fight guys that really ain't on his level. So why not give Boots a shot? You know, a lot of people believe in Boots. I believe in Boots. So sometimes it makes me start feeling like, dang, these guys really, you know, it's more to it than that. You know, maybe they don't want to deal with this young dude, you know.
I mean, it could be some of that. Because, you know, Thurman was also keen to say that, you know, like he had to go through the hard way to get to the big fights. And he believed in boxers doing that, like having to pay their dues too. So it could be Bud thinking that as well. But it also could just be the fact that he's actually right, that there isn't much benefit in him winning a fight against him. Because first of all, he would have to stay at 147 pounds. Which that's like a big in these guys' mind when they made this fight. When Bud and Spence made the fight, they both in their mind was thinking, "Good, this is my last fight at 147." And so now to put it in Bud's mind, like, yeah, we need you to stay at 147, is like, ugh, that's a hard push. It's got to be worth some money. That's what he's thinking. And on the flip side, though. He said that if Gervonta Tank Davis comes up to 147 pounds, he'll fight him. He said because it's a lot more money involved. But on the flip side, he said when he wins, people are just going to say, yeah, but he was too little. Like he's already thinking about what people are going to say about either scenario.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a lot of times, sometimes I feel like they duck these guys because they feel like saying Bud lost to a Boots, man. Now he done mess up some big money fights.
Yeah.
You know, so he knows he's a risk. If he didn't feel like he was a risk, he probably would have just, oh, he's my mandatory, let me get him out the way. But he knows this guy's a risk and can probably change some things. So
I know.
A lot of times they brush these guys off, oh, he's not ready. Who has he fought? And they try to brush a lot of these, a guy like Boots off, but Boots eventually going to get his time to shine, you know, and so unfortunately, man, I want to see him test his skills against a Earl Spence or a Bud before them guys.
Like a high quality welterweight.
I want to see that. You know, even with Thurman, I don't think Thurman gonna even give him no shot. You know, to see where he at.
Well, you know, Thurman is not a bigger welterweight. He's also, you know, already won 2 championships.
Yeah.
And I really like that Ugas versus Thurman fight that they were matching up.
What happened?
Like I felt like that was a good fight for both of them because they were both coming off losses to Pacquiao. Like that seemed like the natural thing to do. And it's a fight where I can, you know, imagine Thurman having his spots in the fight and Ugas, you know, using his stiff jab and seeing if Keith can get around and slide that jab, you know. So it offered like a lot of boxing man thinking, you know, like you could just imagine the matchup. So I think that would seem like a better fight for him because both of them are in that age group and they are both like coming off that loss from that same. Well, no, because Ugas won his fight against Pacquiao, but he lost. His loss came from Spence. So they both are coming off fights, losses. So I think it would be, you know, a good matchup. I hope we do hear more about that fight soon. Now, Danny Santiago says Bud is driving the bus now. Let the what they say? Let them build the type of. I'm sorry, I can't see.
Everyone can get paid.
Right.
Let them build a hype.
So everyone can get paid, but basically, Danny is saying like he's earned the right to be at the top of the heap and dictate what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. But I think he really doesn't want to have to be at 147 pounds for another fight. That's what I think is driving a lot of decisions right now. That's why he's more interested in a Charlo fight at 154. That's why Spence is like, we can have a rematch at 154.
Bud is getting ready to, he's getting to the point where he's ready to cash out for real.
He said that I'm on the end. He said I'm on the end of my career. Like he keeps saying that.
He's almost at 36. It looks like he wants maybe 2 or 3 more fights, and he's gonna be ready to leave.
I mean, I understand that, but my thing is he's really not. I don't think he should be bringing up his age at this point because he hasn't been brutalized. He hasn't been through a whole bunch of wars. He's always been that fighter that's mostly in control in his fights. So it's not like you've had a lot of damage to where, you know, people fight all the way to 45, 46. Look at B-Hop.
He said he's tired. He's been doing it since he's 7.
I understand that part, but don't say that it's because you're older. You know, say that because you've been like in the boxing business for so long. So like you're mentally.
When you start getting all them zeros in your bank account, it's easier to now you get more and more ready to say goodbye.
Yeah, because of the discipline. I mean, you got more money to do things that you want to do. It's the discipline part that's causing you to feel that way, you know?
Right.
And Terrence Crawford on his feud with Jermell Charlo. Okay. Bud says he really doesn't like Jermell.
I'd like to see that fight.
I mean, like he's saying that it's not a situation where it's play. I don't like you. He's saying he really don't like him and his attitude and different things. So
that's a fight I would like to see.
So that's a good fight, right? That's a real good fight when they really don't like each other. Let's see what Chuck is saying tonight. Chuck says, sorry for being late. Oh, no problem. Oh, was in the hospital today. Well, I hope everything, but great news. Awesome. I'm glad that it was great news. And then he says, how about Big George Foreman? That's a great movie. That movie has been like a great movie that we were able to see it in Las Vegas when they did a preview of it. The Nevada Hall of Fame did a preview. We were able to go and watch it and get free popcorn and all this stuff. Yeah. So and we enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I got to sit with a lot of great referees, boxers,
true. Yeah, very true.
Audience full of who's who in there.
Yeah, it was a great moment for us. Now, also, I did want to mention that Mayweather has been doing great things. I think that grandkid is really softening his heart a bit. That grandkid is so cute, and he loves his granddaddy so much. It's so wonderful to see that. It's wonderful when I see it with you and your grandkids. So I love that dynamic. And Mayweather just donated $1 million to families in Maui.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, $1 million to those impacted. It includes shelter for them, like homes, clothing, and getting them off the island to the neighboring island, which is not cheap, by the way.
That's what I love to hear.
Yes, so amazing donation there. Shout out to Money May for keeping it. And he's always done a lot of this kind of thing, but before it was like he wanted to be anonymous. Yes, now he doesn't care if they say his name or not. And then also I saw where he did this huge, he does his back to school drive.
Right.
In Las Vegas. So he also did that as well.
Good look, Floyd Mayweather.
All right. So I don't want to hear none of this. Oh, he don't do shit with his money. Oh, he spend it so recklessly. Guess what? If that's what he wanted to do with his money, that's none of your business. It's his purse. But just to know, so you know that some of this money, he does actually help a lot of people with it.
Remember he paid for George Floyd's funeral.
Paid for his funeral, and it was 5 funerals. It was like, I don't want to say 5 funerals, but I know it was one in Minnesota, one in Texas, and then one in, I believe it was South Carolina or North Carolina one. It was like 3 separate ones that they had, and Mayweather paid for it. And then also he's always been helping empowering women.
Right.
Remember when we used to go to the dinners and the luncheons that he had where they would like have the guest speaker as a female, and they would give awards out and scholarships to females.
Right.
He's always been great with that as well. So kudos to him. I really love that guy when it comes to giving back.
Definitely.
All right. So I do think that's it for tonight. I don't see my guest was having problems getting on. He was technical.
Have to catch Nestor tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to catch Nestor tomorrow. Right, exactly. Because I don't see him yet joining us. He did call during the broadcast to let us know. Let's see. Did we get everything in?
To the zone.
Okay. Let's see. I don't see any other big news. I don't see. Nope. So that's it. We've gone through everything. So just remember Friday, there's a lot of fights coming up. We have Jesus Escalera on Right Hook Promotions and Fire Fists and TNK's boxing card out in Biloxi, Mississippi. We also have Connor Coyle on that fight as the NABA champion, defending his title. Then we have Pop Woodard. Javon in Atlanta Friday night as well, fighting. And then we have the Orlando card with Nestor Bravo being the main event on the Most Valuable Prospects card with BOXLAB Promotions and Most Valuable Promotions. So we'll see you probably. Well, where do you want to go? You want to go to Biloxi or you want to go to Orlando? What are you feeling like this weekend? I mean, either one. We're going to be trying to be out and about. Put it that way.
Right.
Yes, it's going to be out and about for sure. Okay, so until next week, we'll let you know any upcoming boxing news. You can catch it and subscribe to Playhouse Entertainment. Playhouse Entertainment replaced Boxing Playhouse on Facebook. So if you're watching us from Facebook, you need to be on Playhouse Entertainment. Click subscribe. Well, actually, you click like on there, and then you have to put us as your favorite in order to get the notifications for when we go live. And then it'll also have in your news feed all of boxing news that we give you throughout the week. And then on Twitter, we have Boxing Playhouse. And on Threads, the new place to be, Threads is Boxing Playhouse as well. IG is Boxing Playhouse. And then YouTube, our YouTube channel, click subscribe on that. That is also Boxing Playhouse. And if you get confused, you can always go to our website, which is www.boxingplayhouse.com. And then you can just follow the prompts to get to our different pages that way too. And we appreciate all of you guys watching us tonight. Thank you so much for your participation and support through our journey with Boxing Playhouse, media, news, commentators, hosts, article writers, whatever it is that you need, we're here for you. And we love supporting our boxers, both local and globally. So if you have a boxer that you want to highlight, please let us know. And we'll either get you on Latin America if you speak Spanish, or After Dark if you're English, one or the other. Until next time, we'll see you for another episode.
One love.
Oh, you want to one love it?
I said one love.
Oh, okay. Well, we definitely got to go ahead and get our fitness commercial in. I'm wearing it tonight. Let's get it. Fitness.
Let's get it.
And you can go to their website as well and pick out you a shirt or tank or hoodie. And you can also find some of the merchandise on Emilio's personal page and Playhouse Entertainment and IG. Here's our Let's Get It Fitness.
Written down like biblical, I finally reached the pinnacle.
Yeah, baby. You know, you turn me on. So smooth. So many things that I want to do to you.
That's real.
Yo, squirrel.
Check it. You turn me on. Yeah, I'm talking to you, boo. You turn me on. I'm down with what you wanna do. You turn me on. What you giving me is true.
All right. So Let's Get It Fitness. We're wearing it. Purchase it. Get it. And then, of course, we have Emiliano Danny, Santiago's granddaughter, letting you know what happens if you don't subscribe to Box and Play.
Give a shout out to everybody who liked and subscribed to Boxing Playhouse. And if you didn't like and subscribe, you're going to get a knuckle sandwich.
All right. She's adorable. And don't get that knuckle sandwich, because I'm hearing that she really will give you a knuckle sandwich.
You better subscribe.
You better subscribe. All right. We're out until next Thursday. Take it easy.
Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the Boxing Playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.